walk into Marriott's across this country and they holler champ, we're going to do a quadruple knockout because we don't know who they're talking about.
The best looking man, the best dressed man, long limousine, jet airplanes, custom made clothes.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. We are the Four Horsemen.
Yes, we are the Four Horsemen indeed. We have Carlos in studio here. We have Gil, we have Nick. We're actually recording this time, so we're actually going to be recording
boys.
for
Wait
this
to
episode.
the camera. We're on camera again.
We're on camera. Wave, Carlos, give him a wave. Come on.
Our episode.
Let's go. That's what it's for. That's what we're all here for.
Welcome into the Four Horsemen of Fantasy, guys. Follow us on social media, the number 4 Horsemen of Fantasy on Instagram and on YouTube. Guys, how are we doing?
I'm chilling.
It's so hot out.
Oh,
I'm
it's
wearing
horrible.
a hoodie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe I'm chilling is not the right choice of words.
Nah, I'm doing good.
You can't complain about the heat while wearing a hoodie. I'm sorry. Like that's a decision.
I'm generally cold. My house is always cold. So like it just happens to be that way.
Right.
I'm doing all right. You know, can't
how
complain.
Are you doing? Come on.
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. You know, got my awesome coffee this morning, and then I had a great podcast with Joe and Gil this morning.
Yeah, these
Oh
guys
yeah,
are,
go listen to our boy
podcast.
Joe Leo on the grind hours. He's great.
It's a great
these,
time.
These guys are doubling up at this point. They might be ditching me and Carlos. Me and Carlos might be, you know, maybe
We have to do a
do
dual
our own
podcast.
thing one day sometime. Yeah. So
Oh, we're gonna get our own podcast with blackjack and hookers.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, forget the podcast.
okay, yeah. So moving forward, so we are going to be
Took a turn.
Yeah. We've got some good topics coming up. So it's the NBA Finals. We're going to get started with that. It was Game 3 last night. So we're recording right now, Thursday, the 9th of June. Game 3 in the Garden. Celtics win it, 116-110. This was the first game I watched all the way through. I don't know if you guys did as well.
No.
But it was a bit of a strange game. The Celtics got up to a huge lead at the start. You know, they were up like 16 at halftime, and then third quarter, the Warriors do what they always do in the third quarter and bring it back, and then the fourth quarter, the Celtics blow them out again. So what were some of your guys' takeaways from this game?
Golden State really doesn't know how to close out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if they're not dominating the
After
third,
game 1, you think?
Yeah.
if they're not dominating up until, you know what I mean? Like if it's still within striking distance, and I'll be really honest, Golden State does a lot of stupid stuff on the court sometimes, like silly turnovers, poor shot selection here and there. I will still, even though Klay Thompson had a good scoring game yesterday, I think his shot selection is atrocious. That to me is the issue. It's like they're not really sticking to what they know. They're kind of just pushing it more and more, and they take a lot of risks. And in doing so, you keep Boston within striking distance, and they're able to either dominate, which they were last game, or come back. So.
Clay started so slow last night as well. I know he scored 25, but he started like ice cold, and Draymond was just terrible. I mean, I don't know.
He did not play well.
That was one of the worst games he's played all year. So, Nick, what were some of your?
To be honest with you, I'm going from a different standpoint. I'm really bored in this series.
I'm with you.
I am very bored. Like I see the Warriors go make the finals. Oh, whoop-de-doo, you know, they make another one. Then the Celtics, who were there 10 years ago, great, but I don't really care about either franchise. Like, I was really hoping for, like, you know, Suns. I was hoping for Bucks. You know, even Dallas would have been fun there.
Phoenix losing the second round has to be the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, they talked a lot of
I'm
crap.
so over the Suns.
They talked a lot of crap heading to that year, and then just completely.
I wanted Chris Paul. I want Chris Paul to win one, but that's me.
I don't think that's ever going to happen at this point.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think
I think he's the Charles Barkley of our generation.
I think that ship has sailed.
I'm sure he has, but that's my set on it. You know, I'm watching it, and then it's like I get really bored very quick, and then it's like, oh, I hear the Warriors are making a 15, 18-point comeback. Sure, I'll throw it on again. And then they're down. Then they lose by 16. It's like, come on,
It's
just like
been inconsistent
be consistent.
quarters.
Yeah, exactly. Just have
are
like
playing by
if
the
it's
quarter.
competitive, it's great. You know, I'll watch it, but it's not.
Carlos.
Yeah, it's like I'm almost tuning out the game after the third. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a very weird series because I don't know what to make of these teams, and we're 3 games in.
Yeah.
It's been a blowout every single time, even though game 1 was competitive with the Celtics making the comeback that they did, and you know it was competitive for a bit yesterday as well. To me, it all goes down to everybody outside of Curry for the Warriors. Jordan Poole hasn't showed up. Kuminga hasn't shown up. Draymond Green's stat sheet was 4 points, 2 rebounds,
4 assists and 6 fouls.
and he fouled out like. Draymond's never been a big scorer like that. You know, his game is get the boards and facilitate the offense to help get fast breaks on the other end. And the fast break points, they came for Golden State. If you look at Boston versus Golden State, I think it was like 19 fast break points or something like that compared to 4 for Boston. But Boston is dominating in the paint. It's 25 points compared to like 12 for Golden State.
We talked about it this morning. It's the fact that the Celtics are so big and the Warriors can't find anyone to compete with that size.
And not only is just that, they're playing to only their strengths, which is playing small and running the break, but they're not getting any breaks because they can't get any stops, which means they have no choice but to play Kevon Looney, even though they're only decidedly giving him like nothing more than 25 minutes. He only played 17 minutes. He played 17 minutes last night.
I want to talk on this a little because this was my big thing. Steve Kerr talked about in his press conference earlier. They kind of asked him, where do you think it went wrong? And talk about the rebounds, right? Grant Williams is a fiend on the rebounds, and every Golden State player in the interviews afterwards brought up Robert Williams because he's just outstanding. Yeah. He's great around the rim.
Absolute game changer.
But what happened was, Golden State went down a lot early, and Steve Kerr had to bring in smaller players to try, like his shooters, to try and bring the score back. Yeah. Which means Kevon Looney doesn't play as much. Then you've got to bring in Jordan Poole and put him with Clay and Steph, and it's kind of like then your biggest guy is Draymond, who was just being absolutely dominated last night. And Draymond talked about it afterwards, and they were like, "What happened, Draymond? Why did you not play well?" And he was like, "I think I was just soft." It's Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Why are you soft now?
You can't afford to be soft.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like TD Garden got under his skin for sure, and Grant Williams got under his skin. Grant Williams has been sent in there to be like, just annoy him, and you could see it. He did it again last night. Draymond lets it get to him time in, time out, and then he has a game like he did last night. I just think it's frustrating to watch.
Where's Otto Porter playing for 21
Nick
minutes?
all day about Otto Porter.
I'm sorry. No, I've been saying it since this morning. Why is he playing that long? I don't understand. Jordan Poole has 24 minutes. Porter played for 3 minutes less than Poole. Poole should be out there for at least 30 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he's not been playing well. Like if it was early season Poole,
you gotta get him used to it. He's not. He hasn't been there in the finals before. Yeah. This is his first time.
Yeah,
he's got to inaugurate it.
The Warriors are really. I know this is like an overreaction every single game. After game 1, it's just like, oh wow, the Warriors are done. Game 2, okay, the Celtics are done. Game 3, okay, now the Warriors are done again. So I don't want to exaggerate too much, but I really think I didn't feel this way after game 1. I feel it now. I think the Warriors are in big trouble because a big part of their defensive strategy is having Draymond annoy the hell out of the offensive team, and the Celtics just were not listening to that yesterday. And it's a big problem when you move Draymond away from the basket, and that's because he was guarding up on Tatum a lot. He's not there to get the defensive rebounds. Yeah. So if Draymond's your biggest guy, but he's away from the basket, whether it's playing zone or playing on Tatum, who's going to get those boards for the Warriors to start that fast break offense? So I don't know what the Warriors' answer is to their problems offensively and defensively. I just think that the Celtics, now with Grant Williams playing the way he's playing, I think they just match up better.
They really do. And with Jaylen Brown scoring 17 in the first quarter, and you have him scoring. Tatum and Brown just seem to switch back and forth.
Tatum was a non-factor for the first 2 games. He was only shooting like 30%.
Yeah. If I'm going to be honest, I'd give Jaylen Brown Finals MVP if they win the series.
So far,
I kind of would too, because Tatum's only good game.
Tatum's been facilitating, but his shot selection and his shot percentages have just not been well.
And turning the ball over has been a big thing with Tatum too.
But Jaylen Brown's been able to create his own shot. He's been the aggressor for the most part for this series. And he's been getting whatever he wants. And he's been such a dynamic athlete for them.
Can we talk about Al Horford? That's a name that hasn't been mentioned yet.
Big game Al, baby. I love Al Horford.
Is amazing.
He wants his ring.
Really getting it.
Al Horford deserves a ring. I really will say that. Al Horford deserves a ring.
He's getting that energy for that team. And can I go back to Tatum again? Because he shot 9 for 23 last night.
That's right.
39%. You see 26 points. You don't think he shot 9 for 23. Like you said, he's not efficient right now. But it's what he did last night to get everyone else going that really got them.
But this is kind of a microcosm of what the Celtics have been doing in the latter half of the season. Tatum has been able to read defenses, and in doing so, it attracts double teams, triple teams even, and is able to move the ball and read what they're giving him.
Yeah.
So even if he's not shooting well, which has happened multiple times, this isn't a new occurrence. Tatum has also been a little on and off throughout the playoffs a little bit. He knows when to make the right play.
Yeah,
He'll get
he
assists.
Does facilitate, yeah. And I think that what he does is, even when he's not shooting well, what I like players doing sometimes, like Clay last night, is just keep shooting. Like sometimes, you go through a slump at the start of the game. Can I also say there was a stat last night that was crazy, was Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, all had over 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. It was the first time since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, with Magic and Michael Cooper, That's since 1984. What?
Jack, I missed your stats so much.
But no,
Lieutenant
this wasn't
so
a mean
much.
stat. This was
Is this
I credit like I was whatever the ESPN stream.
I actually read that.
That's a great stat. though.
That's a
Yeah.
cool stat. That's a
Yeah.
really cool stat, and that just shows that that's the difference here. Is that they only have Steph and Clay, and Clay's not even been amazing this series. They only have Steph really.
I think the second best player's been Wiggins.
And Steph also like. His ankle's probably going to blow up a little bit. Like
That's my key for game
tonight.
5.
Like I'm
Yeah.
curious to see, like, because Steve Kerr, they asked him after the game, and he was like, "Well, we don't know yet," and it's like they all have to say that,
Yeah.
but because they won't know at that point. But when you wake up in the morning and none of you guys are twisted an ankle,
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
you
not
go
the
over
day
and you're like,
of.
"Oh, it's
Yeah,
okay."
it's
It's
the
a day
day
later, and you're like, "Oh my god."
They
it's
say they're
huge, you know?
optimistic for him for game 4. They
Yeah,
say he
he
avoided a major injury.
And I think that even if he's not 100%, like you're playing him because I think if the
100%.
Celtics win Game 4,
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
I think it's done. Like
I don't
maybe,
care if the
maybe
Golden
not in
State
San
forces it
Fran.
to 7, it's over.
Yeah, I don't think but I'm saying like if they go back to San Francisco in Game 5, I don't think they might not win there, but I think they come back to the Garden and win it in 6. So I'm really curious to see what happens. Right. Let's move on to NFL. This is the Four Horsemen of Fantasy podcast. We started off here. We started with football. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about football these next couple of topics, and we're going to talk about a little bit about some news going on in the NFL right now. Mostly the Rams, really. Like that's what it seems. Like the Rams have made a couple of big moves here. So let's start first by the the furthest away one, which was Aaron Donald.
Yep.
3-year extension, $95 million. He's not retiring. He's being paid like a QB, finally.
highest paid defense.
Highest paid
player.
non-quarterback ever.
And he should be, right?
All right, yeah.
He should be, you know.
Yeah.
So I get some opinions on this, like from you guys. Do you think he was paid fairly? Do you think it's a good move for the Rams? What are we saying here?
100%. For right now.
It's here. Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm afraid
That's all they've been doing, trading for draft picks.
The first things first. The Rams won't be able to field the team in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So
That's one thing I think.
the Rams will not be able to field the team for. So they're trying to milk, but they signed up for this. Once you traded all your draft picks away to acquire Matthew Stafford last year, and then you extend him, and obviously you're gonna Donald, and then you're gonna talk about who the next guy we're gonna talk about in a second. You're signing up to have this lease of being a perennial title contender for probably 5 years max.
Oh, I don't know if the window's that big. But
No, I don't think it's that big.
But I'm with you. The Rams showed you last year and the last offseason that they were going all in regardless. You know, they're trading away draft picks like it's free. So they're already paying for this one title. I think if they don't win another title, they don't care. They got the one.
Yeah.
But you're clearly all in right now. But I want to look at this in a little bit of a bigger lens. This tells you we don't know anything about football. Because genuinely, the most important position is quarterback.
Right.
Then after that, you can flip-flop between the guy that's going to get the quarterback, which is typically a defensive end,
Or the
and
guy
then a
who's
left
gonna
tackle
defend
who can defend that blind side and protect against that defensive end. This is a defensive tackle that's getting paid the most non-quarterback money ever. So we can pontificate and talk about,
good word.
and talk
big
about
words.
as much as we can in regards to who should get paid and what team should do what. The fact that Aaron Donald, a defensive tackle, albeit this is the single person most important,
The best defensive tackle.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think defense, period.
Yeah.
Regardless of position. Get your bag. He clearly deserved it, and
Right.
there's not one person that affects the outcome of a game outside of a quarterback more than he does. I'm just shocked that it took him getting that kind of money before these pass rushers, which are supposed to be a top 3 important position.
For the next 3 years, it's either Super Bowl or bust for this team. There's
No,
no other
Absolutely.
choice
And
for them.
The
That's
thing
it.
is, the NFC is kind of top heavy, so it's not like it's a difficult task. The NFC West kind of fizzled out now because Drew Lock is one of
It
the
used to be the
quarterbacks.
toughest division. Now is Arizona maybe the second best team?
Probably.
I mean, maybe Arizona, maybe San
We don't
Francisco.
know what Trey
There's
Lance is
there's
gonna
so
be at.
many
Yeah,
different
no,
teams there.
all the
that you
talents in the
gotta- yeah.
AFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2 best divisions in football are the AFC North and the AFC West. So, like the NFC West might be the best division in that conference,
That tells you how bad that conference is.
but that conference is top heavy because after Green Bay, Tampa Bay, not even Green Bay. I'm like very shoddy with them. Green Bay, who's probably still fighting with that division with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay will still be a perennial contender as long as Tom Brady's there, which probably won't be long.
No.
So who else do the Rams have to worry about? The Cowboys?
No, the Cowboys always fizzle out. It's going to be a repeat of
Exactly.
last year. It's going to be the Rams and the Bucks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll just stick with the Rams here as well then. Cooper Kupp finally getting his money as well. He's getting paid like the top end wide receiver money, which he deserves after the year he had. He was the best wide receiver, hands down.
I think he had the best individual season I've ever seen.
Yeah, for me, like I will say, as a fan, since I've watched it, it's definitely the best season I've ever seen. And everyone just thought he was going to slow down, and he never did. So his extension now ties him to LA for the next 5 years, 110 million. Like, he's there for the foreseeable. Obviously, Bobby Trees isn't there now. But I just think he is just like him and Stafford have a connection. They've seen that, and he's just the guy now. But as we said, again, it's just the scariness of like LA have like when's their next draft pick? Do we know? Like in the top like 3 rounds, isn't it? Or top 2 rounds? I think I saw it's
they
like
got a while.
or something.
They got a while.
I think it's like 4 or 5 years time or something.
No, I think what's going to happen is once they see their window closing, I think they're going to get ahead of it.
Oh, yeah.
Start trading away everybody.
Yeah, Kupp will be traded in 3 years time.
No, absolutely.
You know
No,
what I
it's
mean?
totally a great idea. The only thing is like, is somebody going to trade for that contract?
Well, by then,
A team that's closer than the Rams will.
wide receivers might be getting paid $30 million a year. You know what I mean?
The market will. I will add this.
The cap's going to go up.
Yeah,
the cap's going to
The
go up.
cap will go
always
up,
does.
but most importantly, the wide receiver market's already broken. First and foremost,
How much did Christian Kirk?
that's where I was going at.
What did he get again?
He got 80-something mil, right? He got like
Four
4 years,
years,
80
exactly.
mil.
And you wonder why people like DK
was-
Metcalf are in a mini cap right now. You know, it's
So Kupp's getting $2 more million a year for the next 5
That's
years.
ridiculous. That's
They had similar seasons.
At the point that Christian Kirk signed the contract, I think he was the second or third highest paid wide receiver. And then until then, Devontae Adams got paid, Cooper Kupp got paid, A.J. Brown got paid.
So we're blaming out Arizona, is what we're doing.
Yeah, Arizona's Arizona has every right to let him leave.
It's Jacksonville doing Jacksonville dumb things.
Oh, sorry.
And the issue with Jacksonville doing it is that since nobody wants to play for the Jaguars and they can't really draft,
gotta overpay.
They have to double the market value. So somebody will say, "I will take this money to live and play in Jacksonville, Florida."
That tells me right now Christian Kirk doesn't give a damn about
Hey,
winning.
Christian Kirk ain't that bad. Just
Segue.
I prefer to play LaVisca. Like Chenault, like he was good this year. Maybe he's
Solid.
no,
He'll probably leave
burned me so
because
bad last year.
he'll probably leave because he
It's
has to play
Jacksonville.
football in Jacksonville, Florida. But you know,
All right, so this last kind of little bit of news is obviously we've talked about this throughout the whole season, really. But there's been the funniest thing is I saw a tweet and it was like the Cleveland Browns bet $240 million that they trusted Deshaun Watson, and all it took was the New York Times to just do some research themselves, and they found that Deshaun Watson over the last 17 months had met a minimum of 66 different women for massages, and there were texts revealed, there were a lot of different explicit kind of details revealed, and he wasn't just talking about massage the whole time. You know,
No, you don't say.
I mean, obviously, given the benefit of the doubt, I'm joking. It's terrible. I'm just curious to see what they do here because Calvin Ridley got given a season ban for betting $1,500. Okay,
The NFL is so ass backwards.
If they don't do like. If that's a year, then this is a lifetime ban.
because it affects
you
their
know what I
pocket.
mean?
They don't
like-
care about
right.
anything else. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're losing money. Get out of here.
Yeah, and I just think like, how is that going to look now for the NFL if they go six games? Come on, Deshaun, like don't do that again. He's like, okay. Like, what are you guys' thoughts?
he should never touch an NFL field again. I'm so honest.
Yeah.
The NFL.
Smartest man alive!
Thank you. I get that a lot, actually. So
Let's fix that.
I was waiting for the suck it, Gil.
If you want
Ask
it.
and you shall receive.
There we go. So here's the thing with Deshaun Watson. Like you mentioned, the Calvin Ridley suspension. If the NFL does anything lesser of a degree for Deshaun Watson, I would be completely befuddled.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, I really don't see why they decided that this would be a great idea. Leave it to the Browns to really screw this up. But extra shout out to, I forgot the name of the person that was researching this from the New York Times, but shout out to her for actually doing her due diligence.
Her job.
Her job that the Cleveland Browns should have done
Exactly.
before acquiring him and
no.
paying him $200
They did the
million.
research, but they were hoping it didn't come out. 100%.
They were
But,
like,
like,
okay, fine,
The
we'll
research
sign
with
you.
Deshaun,
Fine.
you sure this is the only
sure?
23? Just 23, you sure? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and give him
Bet.
that.
It's infuriating. Like this first and foremost, this was a talented player that we all thought deserved to be on a good winning team in a good situation. But once all this news came out, we realized that this is a terrible human being.
Yep.
Like, I can't describe it anymore.
Pop off.
I'm infuriated by this.
It's honestly very frustrating. You see all these players that do all these different things, and the NFL doesn't do its due diligence to get them off the field. It's because they sell jerseys. It's because they have people come in to watch them play.
I'll tell you why.
That's what it is.
I'll tell you why. Because Roger Goodell is a figurehead. He's only working in the owner's interest at heart.
Yeah.
So if the owner
he's
says,
employed by it. He has 32 bosses.
Yeah. So when you only have that in heart, any fundamental belief that Deshaun Watson shouldn't be playing NFL football is out the window because he doesn't care.
Now let me say this. Let me tell you, if Tom Brady were ever to get caught cheating, or betting on a game, do you think he would be off for a whole year?
No, that's a fine.
100% not.
That's a light fine.
100% not. I don't see it. Calvin Ridley, a guy that's been in the league for a couple of years, you're gone.
Yeah, I think
Maybe you don't even see your field again. Who knows?
I think they flex too much muscle when it comes to Calvin Ridley thing. Now I get it. They're trying to overall protect the integrity of the game. They don't want gamblers and people that are covering the sport to think that anything could potentially be rigged. Like a Pete Rose situation or the Black Sox, going back 100 plus years. So I get the Calvin Ridley. I thought a year was too much. I think if you wanted to give him 8 games,
That would make a lot of sense.
I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
8 games.
Because let's look strictly at the domestic violence, sexual harassment policy. The biggest one's been what? Ben Roethlisberger?
6 games.
6 games.
Yeah.
Wasn't Kareem Hunt for worse?
I think he got 4.
No, he got 8.
But he wanted him serving all 8. I think he appealed it.
No, he got 8. I think he got 8.
Yeah.
All right, so
it's 6 to 8.
Let's put it in that range.
Close to that.
So let's stick with that. Even if you double it, and let's just say, all right, we're giving you the year, that's on par with Calvin Ridley. That's exactly what the NFL is telling you guys. They're like, listen,
Betting on sports games is just as bad, right?
It's just as bad as beating or essentially raping women.
Yeah.
That we're putting that on the even playing field. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to get a year or get more than a year. I think this is what's going to happen. If you've noticed that the NFL has been very slow with this investigation.
They've been quiet.
And rightfully so. They've, you want to call it dragging their feet or doing their due diligence, whatever, have at you. But they are making sure that they're letting these facts unfold because they were too quick on Ray Rice. They were very quick on Calvin Ridley. They were very quick on a lot of people. And they saw that they might have jumped the gun too much.
100%.
So they're like, let's let this play out. He's already not getting criminally charged, but when there's smoke, there's fire. He clearly did something here. What's going to happen is they're going to investigate this well into the season. And then I think, let's say it takes it to about week 7, week 8, right? Mm-hmm. He's getting paid for all this time. He's not touching the field, but he's getting paid. So he's not going to get time served. He's going to get a year from the point that the investigation is closed. I think that Deshaun Watson might not get on the field for 2 years. Yeah. And if you look at the Browns' contract to him, they anticipated at least a year. He's only getting $1 million of base salary this year.
Yeah. Right.
So, and here's another thing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, but I've just thought of it. It's going to be difficult for Goodell to really make an example out of Deshaun Watson when one of the owners in the NFL got caught for a similar situation with massages and Robert Kraft as well. So it's kind of I don't know if you want to open up that box if you're Goodell, because a lot of these owners are not going to want to have things come out of their personal life as well. So I just can't see myself thinking that Watson's going to be here for a year, minimum 2.
It's a corrupt environment.
Yeah.
And
these people are so these owners are so rich, and they have so much. There's definitely shady stuff going on.
They have a lot of
Dan
influence.
Snyder's still in the league.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, and it's not like what we were saying with Calvin Ridley. It's not like what we were saying is what he did was fine. Like, obviously everyone knows
he broke a rule.
It was not correct at all.
It makes sense that he gets a suspension.
But the punishment does not fit the crime.
Agreed.
No.
Yeah, because if it does fit the crime, then it fits the same crime that we just talked about, which is way worse, than that. So.
But when seriously, they don't bat an eye when somebody raises their hand at a woman. No. But God forbid, you bet on yourself literally, and everyone loses their minds.
Adrian Peterson came back faster than Calvin Ridley's going to come back.
Exactly.
I'll never really understand it. I really won't. I'm like beyond any reasonable belief that the NFL will do the right thing.
So we're going to just take a quick break here, and then when we get back, we're going to actually finally get into some fantasy, and we're going to talk about a player outside the top 50 that each of us absolutely love. If we have enough time, we might do a second one, just guys that we really want to draft this season. So just stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break, and Thanks, guys. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Okay, so
No screaming? No?
No screaming?
I was looking at him. I'm like, now we're just gonna go silent.
You know what?
we'll all do it instead.
You guys took my thunder.
He's more, he's more civilized.
Okay, no, real talk. Somebody put the outtake of Carlos just running into the camera over this.
Oh, wow.
Carlos got wet earlier, and you got a little bit. You got
Whoa, whoa.
And I had water splashed on me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to talk about a player that we absolutely love, that we think is being drafted way too late, basically, and we're going to try and advocate for this player to be maybe a top 50 player, maybe even better. Kind of like I'm trying to think of like Leonard Fournette last year. He went in round 7 and he ended up like the RB5 or whatever on the season. So we're going to talk about a couple of players of that. So why don't you get us started, Nick?
You know, it's a good segue from our last, before we went to our break.
I like
I know. I love to do this.
I was not ready for that one.
After so many podcasts, you think I would get better.
No.
Someone I really like, and we were just talking about it, Christian Kirk.
Samuel of the
Not
San
him.
Francisco 49ers.
Durbo Samuel.
Durbo. I really like Christian Kirk, and here's why. He's a great slot receiver, and last year Jacksonville was very, very, very good to wide receivers in the slot. Look at the numbers last year. They had 800 yards and 9 touchdowns to the slot receiver last year.
Wow,
because
he did
that
his
was their
research
offense.
today.
Yeah. No, look at me. Coming up early, I'm looking for
Colonel
research.
data.
Second lieutenant data.
Doing some research over here.
This is captain data.
No, he can't outrank Jack.
But
What's one rank under lieutenant?
That's what
Second lieutenant.
Second lieutenant data.
The guy in the military would know.
Yeah.
I also love just the way that they have him in the offense, and who else is there? I mean, they have Laviska Shenault, who's
DJ Shark's
And
gone.
Charles come back from injury.
He's coming back from injury,
I thought
but
he-
what is he really gonna do?
No, Chark's not on the.
He went to the Lions.
No, he went to the Lions.
That's
Did
right.
he?
No, he did
Yeah.
go to the Lions.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, I completely forgot.
You have 2 options over there, and you have Trevor Lawrence, who has to prove himself this year after having a really bad
He better.
rookie year.
I don't even
He
say if he
better.
was just bad or that he just plays for the Jaguars.
It's that too.
No, I don't know.
But-
I wasn't high on Lawrence. I know everybody was in love with him. I don't know if I like him.
But they
Well,
don't.
as a fantasy player, I
You've
wouldn't
gotta
take
go-
well, now
gotta
they
give
have
him another year.
Yeah, they have a new coach. Now they're amazing running back Travis
ETN.
Etienne. Thank you very much.
Etienne.
Urban
Thank
Meyer
you very
messing
much.
up another tight end.
Or a quarterback.
Dude, I think the team's going to
Amazing.
really get it going, and I think they're going to be really, really good fantasy standouts this year.
And
coming out of
here's a couple
Jacksonville.
of players. I'm just looking right now, and we're using the Fantasy Pros football
favorite
rankings,
website.
and we're looking at the PPR rankings right now. Christian Kirk is currently wide receiver 41. Some of the wide receivers going ahead of him: Traylon Burks, the rookie; Drake London, the rookie;
No, I don't get
Gabriel Davis. DeAndre Hopkins is up there.
No.
Hunter
Not even
Ren-
Hopkins?
No, he's out for like more than half the year.
Hunter,
Well, no,
Hunter
but
Renfro.
he's worth holding.
I would take Hunter Renfro over quick.
Yeah,
but I'm just talking about guys that are like really out there, like you can grab late.
Yeah, so I think that's a good shout. I mean, they've got to throw the ball somewhere, right?
100%.
So
100%.
they're going to throw it there, right? Gil, why don't you give us?
I
guy
will
that you
throw
love.
an honorable mention.
I'm not giving up on trees quite yet.
I don't think you are.
I think you are. I actually think you are.
You probably
Oh, I don't
did.
care about Bobby Trees.
I'm going to throw an honorable mention to Darnell Mooney.
Oh, you absolute homer.
Daniel.
I love Mooney. We were talking about him
A
last
bear? Yeah, I drafted him last week. That was out of pocket. So
We're running low on drops here.
So Darnell Mooney deserves an honorable shout simply because I think another year with a good rapport and Justin Fields as your quarterback might be good for him and his development.
I think Fields is going to be good.
I think
now-
I'll help out.
and
What
now-
are you looking at me for, Nick?
You have a Stranger Things hat?
I do. Are you just
I
noticing
just
this?
noticed that. It said
I got this at the pop-up. Like when it was-
Palace Arcade welcomes you Hawkins.
Yeah, it's
What did I
got,
say to
all the,
Hawkins?
it's got all the monsters underneath.
Oh, that's so cool.
I like the inside of that.
That's
hat
dope.
better than the outside.
1985. That's dope.
yeah,
that's
dude.
really dope.
You're like eyeballing
I'm
me.
halfway through season 4 right now, so don't tell me anything.
Oh, I finished it. It's so good. Anyways,
Sorry.
So-
sorry.
And also, Darnell Mooney will be the wide receiver 1.
he will be the one. That's
I
right.
hate that stat.
Allen Robinson's gone now, so.
Robinson's gone. Mooney kind of like, over. I guess usurped him as the wide receiver one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Cortland Sutton, who's just ranked right out of the top 50. I think he's at 53 on Fantasy Pros.
Yep.
So here's the deal. I think he'll be the number one wide receiver. There could be a case made for Jerry Jeudy, as Carlos mentioned to me before we started recording, which is totally reasonable. I think the difference, obviously, now is you're going from Drew Lock to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is obviously one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. That changes a lot. And I think the thing with Sutton was he was probably getting the majority of the attention last season. So I'd be inclined to believe that he'll probably get the majority of the receptions, at least the short options, kind of similar to how Godwin was to Evans last year. So that's where I see it. On top of the fact that he's a decent end zone target.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Like
He's a big dude, yeah. I think he's worth taking. I would even reach for him.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, I think because he tore his ACL, didn't he, 2 seasons ago, and then
That's right.
And
And
he was
he's
coming
going
back
back
off that
last
last
season,
season.
yeah.
The other thing is with Jerry Jeudy is he did have that court case, didn't he have it?
But all the charges were dropped.
A DUI or something like that? Or?
It was
No.
I think
It was a domestic thing, I
I think it was a domestic thing, but all the charges ended up being dropped.
Someone did.
Someone just called a DUI.
I don't know. It was hilarious though, because I remember seeing a tweet at the time, and it was like, "Why does the U.S. justice system have a better wide receiving core than the Detroit Lions?" Right now? And it was like Henry Ruggs, like Jerry Jeudy,
Jerry
like
Jeudy.
a couple, and then there was like
Yeah.
someone else who went into.
You got Michael Vick throwing to him too.
Exactly.
So to that point though, like last year he actually had 13.4 yards per reception, which is actually really efficient. And before the injury, he was at roughly 15 or 16. So
And we've seen that Russell Wilson is able to supply for 2 wide receivers, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
And now he has 3.
Exactly.
They're both serviceable,
And
yeah.
That's the thing. Tim Patrick, you can't take anything away
I won't
from
count him out.
So that's going to be
I don't
be
either.
tough.
I think
next season
Judy and
to go
Sutton could
against
be a
that.
1A 1B type deal. Kind of like similar to Evans and Godwin, where no one was necessarily considered the one, because you could argue Mike Evans was always going to be the go-to end zone target, but Chris Godwin was always getting the shorter options.
And it's funny, the fantasy footballers last season were like, I think a lot more people would be picking up Tim Patrick if he was called like Boom Patrick or Boom. Like,
it's such like a
his name is just
generic-
like, he's your
It's a
local
very boring
accountant.
name. You know what the thing
Patrick
is?
sounds like a guy that
Yeah.
should be selling me insurance.
Anytime you have a player with 2 first names,
Yeah.
bad idea.
It's like, wait, Amon Ra St. Brown, I'm getting him instead. Like,
it just sticks out, yeah.
I can have you be my fantasy team name, Tim Patrick. Who
And
wants that?
speaking of, Carlos, why don't you take this away?
Speaking of guys who should be selling insurance. So we're going to go the opposite direction with names. You want a f***ing name? I'm going to give you Amon Ra.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. Like, that's why I just realized I mentioned him. Like,
That's awesome.
If it was Timothy Brown .2, he'd be like a first round.
Did Elon Musk give him that name? My God.
Right, his name is a symbol. But no, I legitimately, St. Brown is somebody that I am going to be targeting a lot in my fantasy teams this year. He's ranked 64th, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I know you're high on a particular guy, but I'm going to avoid that dude. Darnell Mooney's ranked ahead of him. Marquise Brown is ranked ahead of him. Michael Thomas, who didn't play last year, is ranked ahead of St. Brown. St. Brown was winning leagues last year. If you picked him up on the
100%.
waiver wire, and if you had him for the last 3-4 games, I would have won more titles if I started St. Brown instead of left him on my bench stupidly. I know a lot of people are thinking, it's Jared Goff, and I'm not a big Jared Goff believer at all. But where he's ranked for coming off of 912 yards and 6 touchdowns, for Detroit with Jared Goff, I think is ridiculously low. And if DJ Chark is in Detroit, like you guys say, and I completely missed the memo on that, that means I think there's going to be, defense has still got to play the Lions honest. And I really like DeAndre Swift to come back to have a better fantasy season.
Yeah,
this
apparently
year.
put up a lot of muscle too this offseason. He looks
gained
great.
15 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
His conditioning looks great.
They also drafted Jameson Williams, don't forget.
So,
Yep.
so teams are gonna have to play the offense straight up. I like St. Brown to finish as a top 20 wide receiver easily. I think his ranking is way too low.
Does he end up being the one, do you think? Between him, Williams?
So I don't know what kind of rapport that him and Chark are going to have right away. All I'm looking for is who is Jared Goff and Russell Wilson going to have breakfast with this season? That's going to be the guy.
100%. Yeah.
But I think St. Brown could legitimately finish the wide receiver 1 in Detroit for sure.
Because if you think about it, just like last year, kind of to that point, where Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford became like best friends, and look what happened.
Yeah.
And they killed it. Yeah, that chemistry was unbeatable.
There was
Yeah.
only one toward the end of the season. There was only one person that was getting more targets than St. Brown, and that was Justin Jefferson. And everybody's running to the podium for Justin Jefferson. So for that kind of volume, hell yeah, I'll take a flyer.
I mean, between Cooper Kupp and Jared Goff, I don't see it. Like you could. Kirk Cousins could be Jared Goff, but Kirk Cousins could also be top 10. So like it's never the same.
Yeah, and you're going to be drafting this guy, like depending on like how many people are in your league, you're going to be drafting the 5th or 6th round. At that point, maybe he's your wide receiver 3 or something. Yeah. And at that point, it's like, I'm taking a bit of a fly here, but he has potential to be the wide receiver 1. It's funny that we've all, we've gone for a couple of people all within the same vicinity here. So I'm going to talk about a guy who has finished as a wide receiver 1 3 times. He is only 26 years old, I want to say, and he's just found a new home, and that's Allen Robinson. So Allen Robinson is the wide receiver 28 this year.
That young?
Yeah, he's young.
I feel like he's been in the league for like 10 years.
I remember when he was playing in Jackson.
It's
been forever.
I need to fact check myself. Just bear with me 1 sec.
No,
Alan,
I remember having Allen Robinson when I was in freshman year. No, senior year.
maybe
of high
he's
school.
older than I realized. He's 28. Okay, he's 28.
28.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But that is still that's still
That's so young.
Yeah, that's still
that's
young,
still young,
right?
yeah.
And
I knew he wasn't in his 30s, but
yeah, last season we were drafting. Last season we were drafting Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods next to each other. Now obviously this was before, like no one in the entire fantasy community predicted what Cooper Kupp was going to do, but they were going next to each other in the 3rd, maybe 4th round. Now Cooper Kupp is the wide receiver 1 off the board this year, which he should be, 100%. And he's going number 5 overall behind some of the best running backs in the league. Allen Robinson's going at like 64, okay? He's a wide receiver 29. Cooper Kupp is going to face every single hard matchup there is. He's going to be double teamed at times. People saw what he did last year. No one had the kind of tape on him to realize what he was doing. Like last season, no one could, even though they were watching tape from games before, no one could handle him. This season, teams are going to go away.
There's no way he replicates that.
There's no way he's going to.
He does.
I think he's going to have a great year still, but there's no way no one's ever done that. You can't replicate a season like that again. And Allen Robinson is a great wide receiver. He has been the wide receiver 1 for his team, and he's never played with a good QB ever. Like in Chicago, he has never, and in Jacksonville, he was never given a good QB. He's finally got one in Matt Stafford. If he builds up a bit of a rapport, he's a great end zone target. He's a great possession style wide receiver, and he's a great 1B to Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to be a top 20 wide receiver easily this year, and you draft him in the 5th or 6th round again as a wide receiver 3 maybe. I'd love to have him as my wide receiver 2 if I go running back, wide receiver, then him. That's perfect for me. That's great.
And to prove your point, they lost Robert Woods halfway through the season, so they had no other wide receiver to throw other than to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
well, I mean they got Odell midseason.
Van Jefferson was,
and Van Jefferson was a solid option.
But Cooper Kupp was his guy. And then Odell took a couple of weeks to get into it. I'm just saying he's not going to have 2,000 yards.
And I think Van Jefferson's still there as well. So Van Jefferson's still there, so he will still have that rapport. But I just think Allen Robinson, just raw talent alone, 28 years old, he's going into this offense early on. It's not like he's being signed later into the season or whatever. And I think he has that time to get the rapport. I think he's going to have an outstanding year. I think he's going to be great.
I think for Allen Robinson, in order for your projections to hold true, he needs to stay on the field.
Yeah.
Because he's had a bit of an injury.
Injuries have been a concern.
Yeah, right. Do you guys want to do one more, like very quickly, just like a guy?
Yes, why not? Okay.
Just do like one guy.
Go around this way.
You don't even
I
have
gotta
to
do some research for
You don't even have to really like explain it too much. You can just kind of throw him in.
All right. Well, we broke out a wide receiver, so we already did wide receivers. I might as well switch the position up.
Do a running back. Go for it.
Damian Harris, New England Patriots. I think his usage is only going to get.
I hate that. I'm sorry.
Really?
I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Cool. Whatever.
I get it, but I hate it.
No, I just think I think he'll be a really efficient back. He might actually get a little bit more pass catching involved. I don't know if they'll go committee or 50-50 split.
That's why I hate it. Because Stevenson's still there.
I think Stevenson's going to stay more like a handcuff.
Oh.
I don't think Stevenson actually does anything that would kind of take a dent into Damian Harris.
Yeah.
Because he'll still.
He was great last year.
And he was fantastic.
And he didn't score
finished.
touchdowns.
He did.
That was his
he
thing.
was the. He finished the season.
He's due for positive touch on regret.
He did finish the season as Pro Football Focus's highest graded running back. So I think that also takes under a lot of consideration.
Yeah. If he starts scoring touchdowns,
someone
he's
tell
gonna be-
Bill.
All right, Nick, you found your guy quickly.
I
Then
did.
go for it.
Rashad Penny. I mean, come on.
I don't know about that
That's
one.
another one I hate. I've been
I
waiting
want
for
some
Rashad
Penny.
Penny for like 4 years.
Well, wait, who did they
Towards
just?
the end of the season, he was another guy.
They just
Amon-Ra
drafted
St.
another
Brown.
running back.
I don't care. Chris Carson's never going to hit the field again.
No,
Let
it's
him-
not going to be Carson.
I like that take more than I do.
Chris Carson's not going to do it, and Penny's been there longer.
And it's his last year of the contract, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's like a prove it or lose it, kind
I think
of thing,
Penny's
like-
great.
I don't know,
after the
man.
end of the season that he had Amon-Ra St. numbers that won you championships too.
Now, answer me this. You draft Rashad Penny. Where is he going?
Yeah. Where is he being drafted?
7th, 8th. I want to grab him 7th, 8th round.
In your lineup, where will he be? Flex?
He'll be either my flex
He's the
or he'll be.
RB36.
He's riding
which
bench.
is-
He's riding
He'll be
bench.
riding my bench.
He's riding my bench. He's a
until I
plug and
know
play.
he's-
He's a plug and play.
He will be that guy come week 3, week 4 that's playing every single snap. For me.
I don't think so.
All right, well, guys, this is going to be a guy that we're just throwing out there. We're going to. I want to go back to this episode and look at it, like when we're like halfway
A
through the
year from
ago.
now, we were
I
like,
told
oh,
you, I want to
God.
see which wide receiver did better out of our group.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw a quick name out of there, and then we'll finish off with Carlos there. Kareem Hunt, guys, he's the RB29.
Wow.
Okay, I'll tell you why he is the RB29. Because the thing with Kareem Hunt is, one, he can't stay healthy. He'll get hurt. The Browns are traditionally a team that does not stay healthy. Secondly, he doesn't get the majority of the touches. He's touchdown dependent.
He gets all the receptions though.
Can I give my point now?
Go ahead.
All right.
We're good. Oh, good. That's it.
No, Kareem, right? Has he last season and actually every season he's played.
From top to bottom, nothing's holding.
He every season has week-winning games, and yeah, it's hard to predict which ones they are. But if Nick Chubb goes down again, this is the whole thing. He's like the highest end handcuff you can possibly have, because if Nick Chubb, he did miss a couple of games last season, and Kareem Hunt was putting up 20, 25 points. He always gets work in the passing game because he is a top 3 pass catcher from the running back position in the league. He's outstanding. He was outstanding with Kansas City, and he's been great with Cleveland now. And again, the thing is, I'm not drafting this guy to be my RB2, or my RB1.
That's true.
I'm drafting him to be my RB3 or 4, and maybe if he has a good matchup, I plug him in on my flex. That is a bye week filler. That's because that's where you're getting him. You're getting him at 74. So in a 12-man league, he is in the 7th round. I'm at that point. Who am I going to take? Chase Edmonds from Miami is next to him? Absolutely not.
Do you want
I'm
Kareem
not,
Hunt over Dalvin Cook's handcuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say Alexander Mattinson to me. is the
Yeah.
one.
That's a great. No,
Madison,
that's a
or do you
great
want
pick.
Hunt?
No,
You know,
you could.
like-
A lot of people. A lot of mock drafts have
Tony Pollard.
Madison.
Or
at,
even
like,
Tony Pollard at that
Pollard's
point.
gonna.
You're right.
I'm telling you
stole my
guys.
thunder because Tony Pollard's my guy.
Tony Pollard's going to finish the season ahead of being a handcuff. He will.
He's gonna. I think he's gonna finish the starter.
He's going to finish the starter. I agree.
Carlos, what do you?
Yeah, tell us about Tony.
I think you guys already said it. Zeke Elliott is ranked RB number 18.
Yeah.
So he was
a
going to
drop
first.
off.
He was going in the first and second round last year,
Yeah.
and the second round would have been considered a steal. Tony Pollard is emerging as a real threat for the last season or so. I think he flat out week 4. I think that if Dallas starts off slow and they're like 1-3, 2-2, and Zeke is just plodding for like 70 to 80 yards, doing this after like 3-yard first down. I think Tony Pollard's going to be the starter week 5 going on.
I'd love to see.
And look at these guys getting their money and then not performing after that. It's ridiculous, but that's another topic.
Yeah, right. So that was a lot of fun, guys. We ended
Don't
up
play the music yet.
getting through.
Guys, I hope you know. So this is a very special occasion.
This is.
This is Jac'S last episode in person before he goes back to Wales.
In person.
Meaning we will not see Jack for a very long time. So I thought it'd be great to surprise Jack and say thank you for being a great friend,
Yeah.
great Lieutenant Data. Everyone give him the round of applause.
Thank you for a great year, man. This is fantastic.
Thank you guys. Very
so-
much appreciate it.
Of course, we'll miss you back here in the States. I hope Wales sucks so you come back.
No, it actually has been great. Like we've had an awesome time like doing this and stuff. And this started off as literally like in class. We were like, should we do a podcast? I mean, like, go on, like we'll try it.
Why not?
And
This
it's
is
actually been a
cool.
lot of fun. We've gotten good friends and everything. And I am going to try and carry on doing it remotely. Although time zones are going to be a bit strange.
Yeah.
Oh man, you can't play my national anthem because here's the reason.
I had this locked
I'm going on a bit of a rant. Here's the reason. I hear my national anthem twice, 3 times a year. You guys hear it once or twice a day, okay? Every sports game, it pisses me off, right? I get goosebumps when I hear my national anthem because I'm expecting. By the way, Wales just made their first football World Cup in 64 years. So
Let's
shout
go.
out to Wales.
Yep, yep.
And we will be playing the
Good job,
US.
lads.
Y'all getting snapped first game, baby.
So I can't wait for that. But no, I do appreciate that, and yeah, it's been a blast. But look, this isn't goodbye.
No, of course
it's
not.
not.
This is so long.
This is just.
We'll see you soon.
It's just a thank you.
Now I have a
It's just
reason to go to
thank you.
Wales.
I have a reason to go to
You
Wales.
guys have a place to stay if you do want to come stay. So
Fantastic.
and that's been live on the podcast. So yeah. So anyway, I guess I'll close this out. This is my last time closing this out in person. Maybe if I'm back, I'm going to record again. But thank you guys. Thank you very much, and thank you guys for listening. And yeah, follow us on all social media platforms. The 4 Horsemen of Fantasy. We will remain the 4 Horsemen. And yeah, go Gales. And peace out.
Take care, everybody.